Hi, Jack Canfield here. Welcome back to another segment of Hollywood Live. I'm really glad to have you here. My next guest is someone I've interviewed before. I can tell you you're in for a treat. This guy is amazing. John Parks Trowbridge. He's an integrative medicine doctor and specialist, one of the coolest guys I've ever met on the planet. So welcome.
Thanks, Jack. Appreciate you joining again.
So catch us up, like on, well, first of all, let our viewers know who you are if they haven't seen you before.
Sure.
And then catch us up on some of your latest work, because I know you're doing some really exciting things.
Fun stuff. I'm from Houston. I've been there in practice 39 years now. And originally I trained in urological surgery, but went into general practice because, well, let's just say I'm a little opinionated, and I didn't think I'd get very many referrals, which was true. And so I kind of wound my way through looking at different ways to get people better, and ended up basically saying, if you're sick and tired of drugs and surgery, there are better ways. And the better ways, of course, are nutrition and dietary changes and exercise and all those sleep things and whatever. But there's also ways to use medication to make people better in ways that the other doctors are not. And it's because of the diagnosis being different. So a slogan that we've adopted now is find it now, fix it right. Okay? And so we have come up with some phenomenal new stuff. I wrote a book called The Yeast Syndrome back in 1986, Bantam Books bestseller. And the results now are even more spectacular. So.
But you have a new book.
New book coming out. It's called, actually the best new book I have at the moment is called Mastering the Art of Success. I believe you know it.
I know, we co-authored it together.
and that has been very well received. And you know, my patients are kind of enjoying it because what we're doing in that book is educating other patients, not mine, okay, as to what we do with our patients, teach them how to become very active participants. I say, all right, now we're in a partnership. You do your part, I'll do my part. And we're very demanding about what their part is making lists so that when they come into the office, we know what they're on. They've seen other doctors or stopped doing things, making lists of their questions, bringing in articles that they have questions about, and talking basically about how to get them better, which we do very quickly because it's so much easier when everybody's on the same page. And that chapter in the book has been spectacular. It really gets people actively involved because, you know, you can't afford to be sick anymore.
So, John, I don't know that everyone knows what integrative medicine is. How's that different from normal or traditional medicine?
Traditional doctor. Well, train to be a real traditional doctor. Learn about how things work, how they work wrong, what medications and operations can help them. Now you get to be a doctor. And, of course, I call that a license to learn because then you just have the basics. You now can understand, you know, how to take care of people as you are learning over the course of a career, which is probably why they call it the practice of medicine.
I was always saying, but practicing medicine.
It's never perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the thing is that there were nostrums and old home remedies that people did, you know, for eons. And, you know, you didn't have a doctor available. You had to come up with potions and herbs and whatever. And that knowledge is basically forgotten and not taught in medical school. So that's old knowledge. Well, then there's also new knowledge, and that is spectacular advances that are still in the basic literature. It's research that's coming along, and it's our understanding of physics and biochemistry, even pharmacology. I mean, drugs, there's nothing wrong with drugs if they help serve as a bridge to get you from here to there, okay? And so the integrative medicine is to take all of these different areas of knowledge that helps people and integrate that together, pick and choose what's appropriate. You know, I did chelation therapy to help with hearts and other problems and such, and people say, well, of course, you don't like surgery. No, one of my best friends was Jimmy Howell. He did the first bypass operation, and he took care of my patients with need for heart and neck surgery and so on. It's not a competition. It's a cooperative venture getting people better, and that's integrative medicine.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I also heard that often traditional medicine is treating the symptoms, and the integrative medicine often looks, well, what's the source of the problem? Can we go back to the cause and solve that so we don't have to treat the symptom?
Absolutely. And how do you find the cause? Well, you go, well, I'll get a diagnosis by doing a test or doing MRI. You know, it all sounds very important. No, it actually is talking to people. And, you know, you get them to give you a lot of detailed history, and you go, I need more information on this. Tell me about this, that, and the other. I'll give you a great example. I have a lady with leukemia, okay? Her counts were 50,000 when we started with her. They're down at 15 to 20 now. We're just getting the fun stage now, okay? I said, give me more history on this. Let's get back to this. You first came up with funny white counts in, she says, 2006. So what did you do just before that? It turns out they were remodeling a house overseas that had granite walls, had been built in 1820. This is Scotland, and you know, granite does not breathe, it weeps. And so the humidity inside the house would hit the inside of the wall. It wouldn't go anywhere else, it would just build up. When they were tearing out the wallboard and such, lush growth of fungus all over the inside of the walls. They'd been wet for 100 and plus years, 200 years. And that's when her leukemia started, which leads me to the newest thing coming out. I have a forthcoming book called Sick and Tired. And it's an update to the yeast syndrome book from 1986, because now we're not just talking about yeast, which is part of the fungal kingdom, but deep blood fungus, which is actually an infection inside your blood that is then creating all the unexplained illnesses, the cancers, the immune system disorders, MS, ALS, rheumatoid, lupus, pestering skin problems that don't go away, sudden kidney failure, worsening diabetes. The list goes on and on and on. Jack, I'm finding this deep blood fungus in all these unexplained patients.
Wow.
Now, the neat thing is, you know, when Pasteur 150 years ago said, hey, I think these bugs are causing disease, then we found antibiotics, and now we could take care of a whole range of diseases because they were bacterial infections. And then we have this whole other range of disease. Oh, we don't know the answer, but we'll just treat the symptoms as they're coming up. We'll try to find something interesting to get you better. What if most of those are fungal and we've not ever seen bacterial and fungal? It makes sense. You know, there's three kingdoms: plant, animal, fungus kingdom. Plants, you didn't know that?
I didn't know the
Now,
fungus was a separate kingdom.
It's a separate kingdom, and that's based on the way that they do their energy production. So plants take sunlight, make energy out of it. Animals eat the plants to get the energy, other animals that ate the
Right.
plants. Fungus kingdom eats the other two. Now, it's nothing personal, it's just business. We're just trying to make a living, and if they don't do it successfully, they die. So what they're doing is exploiting your biochemistry for them to stay alive. Well, now, wait a minute. That sounds just like what bacteria do. Fungus does the same thing. We're becoming a happy meal for the fungus.
I'll talk to you about my toenail in a minute.
There you go. And actually, that's important.
Yeah.
We have a very simple way of taking care of toenails. You want to hear it?
Sure.
Baking soda soaks.
Baking soda
Baking
soaks.
soda
That's
soaks.
simple.
You make a little paste and put it on 10 minutes, soak in baking soda water, and then put on Dr. Blaine's Tiniacide, which you get over the counter at the pharmacy. Do it, 4 to 6 times a week, and it goes away in a few months.
That's great, because I know a lot of people
Oh, absolutely.
who have that
You know,
problem.
our job, Jack, is to make it simple, not complicated.
There you go.
And, the complicated part's mine. The patient's part is just keep telling me what's working and what's not. And keep complaining. We tell patients, you got to kind of groan and moan, and just, otherwise we're assuming we're getting you better.
Very good, very good. I'm just curious. You're someone who just followed their own drum, as it were, followed your
Exactly,
heart, and it's made
exactly.
you such a dynamic and fun guy. Fungi. Bad
Fungi.
pun. I didn't.
All
mean-
right,
I
now
did-
wait a minute
I did
here.
not mean to do that on purpose. I did not mean to do that on purpose. Anyway, so but if you were sitting here looking at the younger you when you were just getting into
Yes.
medicine, let's say,
Yes.
what advice would you have given yourself, knowing what you know now?
I think I would have been more insistent at learning the technologies I saw had worked in somebody that I didn't know about, and go, all right, I got to find out what did that doctor do to fix that problem in that person. I would have pursued that earlier and more intensively. Because every time I did, I ended up with a whole new realm of technologies, tools to help patients get better. And I would have learned that faster and earlier.
Would you say then that one of your, I don't know, highest qualities is curiosity?
Absolutely. Because I'm always scratching my head going, why? Why is that? Doctors, stop asking why about 5 questions too early. Well, I have this. Okay, good. Got that. No, wait a minute. Why do you have this? Why did you get that? Why did you? If you start talking to people, for instance, with high blood pressure, lead is one of the commonest ways to get high blood pressure that we can diagnose. A lot of times we haven't figured it out yet. I think it might be deep blood fungus. I'm working on that, okay? But the deal is that lead definitely can elevate your blood pressure, create heart disease, create strokes, all this sort of stuff. Then you find out that they made fission weights, or they reloaded ammunition, or they did indoor shooting and had all the smoke. Wait a minute. That's the way to treat their problem, is get rid of the lead, get the lead out. And it's amazing that you can fix problems by going for the cause. We don't see cause doctors. We see organ doctors. Oh, my gut is this, my skin is that. They're not looking at the cause. They're looking at what Band-Aids they can put on. And honestly, you can't blame the doctors. If they've been inadequately trained or their perspective is kind of biased and such, they're not going to see how to treat it. You have to find someone who is looking for how to treat it.
I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm thinking of the TV show House, where the doctor,
Yes.
where the doctor was always going, "Where? How did this start? Where did it go?"
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And we should all be like that. But you know what the problem is? We don't have the time. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I have to break on this interview because it's too quick. I have another interview to see and another one after that, and that's what we do with patients. And I go, well, didn't your doctor ask you about that? No, they had too many patients to take care of it. What are you? You're a patient. Why aren't they asking you the questions and taking care of you?
I'll share one last story with you, and then I'll ask you the final question. I was at my 15th college reunion. My lab partner.
Last year, right?
No. This was a number of years ago. My lab partner in Natural Sciences 5, which was a biology course taught by George Wald, who was a.
My God, I know George Wald.
Yeah, well, he was
incredible.
He was. He got a Nobel Prize for discovering niacin in the eye was the reason we see color. And he was a great teacher.
Phenomenal.
And so anyway, we were in this lab class together, and he became a doctor, John Gamble. And I said to John, have you ever thought about holistic medicine and things like that? He said, no, I can't afford it. I said, why not? He said, all of my costs for medical school.
Well, it's unfortunate, but you know what? I think people start medical school with an idea they're going to help people. Mm-hmm. What a great idea. I like that idea. But here's the deal. Then you get out and you find there's only a limited number of things you can really make a major difference on. So they settle for the brass ring instead of the gold ring. They don't find out how to fix that problem. See, my job is to work myself out of a job, obviously, because if I fix your problem, you're not an annuity anymore. You got better, you don't have to come in.
Right.
See, and they get trapped. You know, I had massive debt when I finished. And yeah, you start doing the doctor thing. You know, there's two kinds of rich. There's real rich and doctor rich. See, real rich, you own it, and doctor rich, you owe it. And that will drive your decisions in terms of what you can do, not for a particular patient, but just for the career style.
Got it. Well, if I was out there listening to you, just as you've given me a treatment for my toe fungus here,
yes,
I would say I want to get in touch with that guy, find out if I have a deep fungus in the blood.
Deep blood fungus is
blood
dangerous.
Fungus, yeah.
Yes.
So how do people reach you? How do they find you, Don?
It's real simple. The website is healthchoicesnow.com.
Healthchoicesnow.com.
Health Choices Now. If you don't know you have health choices now, well, then you don't have any, okay? So healthchoicesnow.com and dial 1-800-FIX-PAIN, F-I-X-P-A-I-N, fix pain. The idea people are in pain, either psychological, worried, whatever, they have real physical problems, that's what we fix. Find it now, fix it right.
I'd love to sit here and talk to you all day long. Unfortunately,
we can
don't
do
have
that.
time for that. We'll do it again next time.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Well, you heard it here. This guy can help you. Wow. Anyway, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this message.